Hi everyone, this tutorial is a Portfolio Submission 2 help session. This is for teacher education majors at Oklahoma State University. I've already logged into my LiveText account, and I know that it does say Elementary Ed Portfolio Template, but understand that that's not just who this tutorial is for. This is for all education majors. I just had to select a particular template within LiveText. So the first thing we need to do is look at this Submission 2 checklist, and that is going to be on the Submission 2 Documents tab on the side of your template. I've already got it open, so we're just going to look at this checklist here. First couple things you've already done. The introduction page, you did that in Submission 1. There might be some updates to that, or maybe you want to include a new picture, so go ahead and do that at this point. Also take a look at your Submission 1 documents and make sure all of those things are complete. There might have been some things that you said that you didn't have at the moment, but you would go ahead and include those when you receive them. So go back and verify that you have all of those things in there. The next few things, you did this in Submission 1, these are just updates. So you're going to have a transcript again. Again, SIS is the best place to get that. Just do a copy and paste. You're also going to update your resume, which you did in Submission 1. So I would go back to that copy you did last semester and then update that with anything from this semester. The next thing is your field placement record form. Now remember, in LiveText it has its own page, and it's just that chart that you fill in talking about the schools that you have been observing in. So just a reminder on that. This next thing on your checklist is actually no longer required. It says evaluation form, interview for admission to professional ed. If that is still on your template, disregard that, because you're working from an older version of the template, and so that is no longer required. The next item, though, evaluations from field placement teachers, faculty, and peers, that item is required, and ideally you want evaluations from your field placement teachers. And then also, if you have any peer or faculty evaluations, maybe from a presentation you did in class or an assignment, go ahead and include those in that section. The next thing, the release form for videos, photos, and student work. I'm going to show you this in LiveText. I'm going to go back to Submission 2 Documents. We're going to scroll down to that area. Okay, this is the section where you would need to talk about how you are going to be responsible for obtaining signed permission forms to include videos, photos, or student work samples. And so in this template you have a document that you can use to obtain consent. But you won't be uploading these documents to LiveText. These will be things that you'll just keep for your record. But you do need to include in that section how you're going to address that issue. And so what does it say? In 3 or 4 sentences, describe how you plan to maintain the signed release forms in a confidential yet readily accessible manner. So this is just a statement here of how you're going to do that. Let's go back to the checklist here. Okay, the last couple things, and this is new to Submission 2, is your artifact list. We're going to go to that in a minute. And then your initial selection of artifacts with accompanying caption pages indicating progress toward the 5 OSU core values, and really there's 10 if you include the sub-values, and we'll look at that in a minute, and also the 15 Oklahoma general competencies. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my LiveText template. We're going to look at these, because really you're going to have 8 artifacts for Submission 2 at this point, and 2 artifacts for Submission 3. So in Submission 2, the core values that we're going to be addressing are, and I'm just going to go through these one by one: ethics and professionalism, academics and professional roles, content knowledge. Okay, and under this core value we have 5 different sub-values. And then we have integration, human growth and development, learning environment, technology, teaching professional practice assessment, and diversity. Okay, so we're saving that core value of leadership and service orientation for submission 3, and we're looking at these ones in the middle. I shouldn't say these ones, these core values all the way from ethics to diversity in submission 2. Okay, so I'm going to open up one of these tabs and we'll just look at what that means. Okay, the first thing I need to tell you is there are spaces for 2 artifacts, but you are only required to have 1 artifact. So if you're like me, that might bother you a little bit. You can click this Manage Sections button and you can delete the sections that you don't want. So if you don't want that Artifact 2 caption page or Artifact 2, you can just delete those. I'm not going to do that right now, but you're certainly welcome to do that. And check those. Save and finish. Save and finish. Okay, so if you look at this caption page, they're all the same for each core value. And so look at what you're going to do here. Okay, you're going to name the core value. Of course, this is ethics and professionalism. You're going to list the course name and number where you completed this artifact. So maybe CIED something or SCFD something or whatever course that you took that where you completed this assignment. Also the semester you're enrolled in the course, fall 2012 or spring 2013, whatever it is. And then there's 3 things you're going to touch on for each artifact. A paragraph summarizing the assignment. You're going to write a paragraph explaining why the artifact was included under the specific core value. So on this page, why was this artifact included under ethics and professionalism? And then the last thing that you're going to mention is the Oklahoma competencies represented by this artifact. Okay, you're going to list the letter. So is it A, B, it's A through O. The letter and the description of the competency with an explanation of the alignment to this artifact. So, for example, you might choose that this artifact goes with B. So you would literally put the entire competency in this area right here, and then you would explain your rationale of why you included it, why that artifact connects to that competency. So you can have more than one. I wouldn't say several, but 1 to 3 competencies per core value is okay. This last section remains in your template, but it's no longer required, where it says reflection explaining relationship of artifacts to national standards. This was taken out prior to me coming into this position, so you no longer have to do this reflection. But if you look at all these other questions, this is your reflection, so you've already done it in these first 3. Okay? So in this section here is where we're going to upload the artifact. Okay, it might be a Word document, it might be text that you want to paste, it might be an image. Okay, so it depends on what your artifact is. If it's an image, maybe it's a certificate of attendance where you attended some ethics and professionalism conference, and you could upload that image here. If it's a file attachment of maybe a paper that you did, you're certainly welcome to upload that. Or maybe it's just text that you want to paste. And I do want to point out something. If you're pasting from Microsoft Word, you want to use this paste from Word option, and the reason for that is sometimes within LiveText it'll change the formatting of your text if you paste from Word. So make sure you use that option, paste from Word, if you're going to do that. Okay, can I cancel that and not save any changes? Alright, so for those artifacts, for those caption pages rather, you're going to be doing the same thing for each core value. So what we just talked about for ethics, you'll do the same type of thing for content knowledge. Of course, your artifact is going to be different. And for integration, now for integration, if you use an artifact here and you feel like it goes with another core value, for this core value only, integration, you can use that same artifact for another core value. So if you feel like integration and content knowledge, if you feel like the artifact you have for this goes with this as well, that's okay, but you can't do that for any other core value. And the reason is it's called integration, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, last but not least, let's look at this artifact list page. This is something that we updated for the students starting their portfolios in the spring 2013 semester, but yours is still going to look this way for now. This is simply just a matrix of where you indicate the competencies that you've addressed in your artifacts. So if you remember leadership, we're going to do that in submission 3. So we'll start here with ethics and professionalism. This is just where you list your artifacts. So whatever that was, you're going to put it right here. And then you're going to put a 2 in the boxes of the competencies that relate to this artifact. So again, if you feel like the artifact, maybe it's your research paper you did, if you feel like that goes with C and E, you're just going to put a 2 in these boxes here. Okay. The 4 competencies that you need to save for submission 3 are J, K, M, and O. I'm going to say that one more time. The 4 that you need to save for submission 3 are J, K, M, and O. And all other competencies you need to address in submission 2. Now if there's a couple that you're missing, then that's okay, but you really do need to address the majority in submission 2, because in submission 3, if you'll remember, you only have 2 artifacts. So it's going to become more difficult to address all those Oklahoma competencies in submission 3. Okay, I think we've covered everything. Let's go back to our checklist to make sure. Yes, we've done the initial selection of artifacts. I'm going to scroll back up here. It looks like we have that done. Okay, let's talk about sending this for review. I know you did this in submission 1, but we always need to review this. Send for review. You're going to type in your program area. So if you're elementary, it would be OSU ELEM. Okay, if you are math, OSU MATH, OSU Math. Let's see, if you're English, it'd be OSU ENG. Okay, and whatever your content area is, and you always want to click Submit for Review. That's what sends your portfolio to the program area. And then I always recommend verifying that you've sent it. You can do that under Reviews. And we want to look at the Sent tab. And we can see the title of our portfolio, who we sent it to, and the date that we sent it. And that's kind of our proof that we did send our portfolio. I think that's all for this tutorial, but if you have any questions, feel free to contact me through email or call me anytime. Thank you so much, and I hope you are very productive in your submission 2 this semester.